one team. One dream. One fan.
30, 20, 10, touchdown Miami! 1, 2, 3.
Hello, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? And thank you for listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast on this Tuesday, March the 10th. I'm your host, Mike Oliva, flying solo today, as we got a bunch of news to talk about in the world of the Miami Dolphins, as we are on day 2 of the legal tampering period. The Miami Dolphins agreed to terms with a new kicker. We're going to talk about that. Since our show yesterday afternoon, they re-signed a tight end. They lost out on an edge rusher they really wanted, and he went to the Jets. And also, I got a lot to say on this Malik Willis stuff. It seems like Dolphins fans have kind of lost their minds when it comes to Malik Willis. So I got a lot to say there. All right. Before we get to that, let's get the business stuff out of the way first. This show is brought to you by Caneswear. Everyone go to caneswear.com for the best and most affordable Miami Dolphins apparel on the internet. Caneswear.com is the best and most affordable Miami Dolphins gear: hat, hoodie, t-shirt, polo, shorts, socks, anything with the Miami Dolphins logo on it that you can wear. Anything for the home, anything for the office, anything for the car. Caneswear.com, Caneswear.com, Caneswear.com. Go to that website first before you go to any other website online for Miami Dolphins gear. They also got stuff for the Miami Heat, the Marlins, the Panthers, and of course the Hurricanes. If you're in South Florida, stop by their shop at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. Shout out to everyone listening and watching us at the I Am a Miami Dolphins fan Facebook page, run by the great Carlos Hernandez. If you're on Facebook, please be sure you are a part of the I Am a Miami Dolphins fan Facebook page. And if you're watching me right now live on YouTube, do me a favor, smash that like button right now. Go down there, hit the little thumbs up, smash it. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, so when a new show drops, you're notified. And if you leave me a super chat before the end of the show, I will read it on the air. It can be a question, it can be a comment, a topic you want me to talk about, anything you want. Just leave me a super chat and I will get to it before the end of the show. All right, let's start here. The Miami Dolphins later Monday afternoon, like I said, after the show we did yesterday, signed tight end, or re-signed, I guess, tight end Greg Dulcich, who was a pleasant surprise for the Dolphins last season. He started the year on the practice squad, but he was called up in late October. I want to say the 22nd or so, somewhere around there. Played in 10 games. He started 3, 33 receptions, 335 yards and a touchdown. But the numbers don't tell the whole story, because as the season went on, he was more of a larger and larger role in Miami's offense. And obviously with the new offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick, who was here last year in Miami, just not as the OC, he knows him well, and I'm sure he's got some new and creative ways to get him the ball in the passing game. Good signing, very good signing. I think it's a 1-year deal for like $3.25 million. So it's not a ton of money, and which is the type of deals that the Miami Dolphins are going to be looking at from here on out in free agency. And you look at that tight end room. John Eric Sullivan said at the combine, it's unlikely that tight end Darren Waller will be back in Miami. And again, look what they've done this offseason. They run off the older guys, the guys who've had a lot of injuries or who missed time with injuries. That's Waller. So their tight end room right now is Julian Hill, Greg Dulcich, and Jalen Connors. I expect to probably draft a tight end at some point too. Wouldn't be shocked to see that. They might even take one in the, I don't know, second or third round if the right guy's there. I wouldn't be shocked to see that. Probably not the second, maybe third round or fourth. So we'll see, but good signing, good player, good guy, good locker room guy, and who really, as the year went on, he got better and better. So good re-signing here for the Miami Dolphins and Greg Dulcich. We got to talk special teams. Now, I wrote an article about this, I don't know, Saturday or Sunday. People are like, what are you, nuts? No, I wasn't. The Miami Dolphins did not re-sign Riley Patterson as their kicker. I thought there was a good chance Riley Patterson would not be back, and as of today, he won't be back. The Miami Dolphins instead signed kicker Lane Gonzalez to a 1-year deal. Gonzalez will be 31 in May. He's bounced around the league. Cleveland, Carolina, Arizona, Atlanta, the Lions, San Francisco, Washington. Not in that order. Just he's been on a lot of teams. And I think part of the reason he was signed to Miami is because his rookie season in Cleveland. Who was his special teams coordinator? Chris Tabor, the new Miami Dolphins special teams coach. This guy really is a journeyman kicker. I mean, he was out of the league in 2022 and 2023. In 2024, he played in 6 games with Washington. He was 4 or 5. I only count field goals that are 40 plus. Anything under 40 yards, most of these guys are like automatic these days, or they wouldn't have a job. So in 2024, in those 6 games, he was 4 of 5 on field goals, 40 to 49 yards. He was 0 of 1 on 50 plus. In 2025, though, he was much better. In Atlanta, he joined them midway through the season. I think only 9 games with them. On field goals of 50 plus, he was 7 of 9, which is outstanding. And on field goals 40 to 49 yards, he was 8 for 8, didn't miss. Also last season in 2025, he was named the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week, not once, but twice. For his career, he's never missed a field goal under 30 yards. Or I should say under 40 yards, I should say. He's only missed, nope, let me say that again. I misspoke. He's never missed a field goal under 30 yards. He's only missed 4 field goals in his lifetime between 30 and 39 yards. And on kicks 50 plus, and that's where this league is kind of going. On kicks 50 plus, he's 18 for 28 lifetime. And on kicks between 40 and 49, 41 of 54 lifetime. I know it's a lot of numbers. But essentially, Miami Dolphins' new special teams coordinator, Chris Tabor, has more of a relationship here with Zane Gonzalez, obviously. And plus, I think he's cheaper. Part of the reason I didn't think Miami was going to re-sign Riley Patterson was because he was too good. I thought he was too good. He was so good that I'm sure he's going to sign a deal here in the coming few, I don't know if it'll be a few, soon. I think he'll sign here with the team soon. I think it's going to be, not for big money, but probably more money than Miami wants to spend on a kicker, especially because they don't have a lot of salary cap space. Miami, I didn't see the money from Zane Gonzalez. Is this true here? I'm seeing something on social media. Sorry, I got to check this. Let me see if this is true. If someone's messing with me. Okay. Oh, well, there's a few things here. Jason Sanders just signed with the Giants. Someone else is spreading a false rumor in here. Okay. So Jason Sanders just signed with the Giants. So congratulations, Jason Sanders. Yeah, so I think that Riley Patterson here is going to sign with a team and get actually some good money. And probably more than Miami wanted to pay. So I wouldn't be shocked. So not surprised that they went Zane Gonzalez. And like I said, or maybe I didn't say him because I might have got derailed. Someone put up a fake rumor here in the chat and it got me distracted. Sorry about that. So I think Zane probably signed for league minimum and it's probably as cheap can go. So that's why they went there. Also on Monday, the Dolphins lost their punter, Jake Bailey, to Atlanta. They lost their long snapper, Joe Cardona, to the Rams. So it's going to be a new look special teams for Miami in 2026. They got Zane Gonzalez, but they need a new long snapper and punter. We'll see what they do there. Miami also lost a couple other players on Monday. 2 offensive linemen. I don't think anyone's going to be sad to see either one of them go. Cole Strange followed Mike McDaniel to the Chargers, and also their offensive line coach went to the Chargers too. So Mike McDaniel's putting the band back together. He already signed, or I'm sure he had a voice in them signing Alec Ingold, the fullback, and now Cole Strange there as well. And also Larry Bourne, who I know a lot of fans gave a lot of crap to about, about how he played and stuff last year. He wasn't awful for Miami when he filled in for Austin Jackson, which was pretty much the entire season. He signed with the Lions. So Larry Bourne goes to the Lions. And, I know a lot of Dolphins fans think, and look, I agree, that offensive line needs to be fixed, but you look at it as well. Patrick Paul's not going nowhere. Aaron Brewer's not going anywhere. Jonas Savaiinaea wasn't great last year, but I think, hopefully they can sort of coach him up. But I don't think he can get worse. So I'm sure they got him penciled in as a starter. Maybe he moves to the right side of the line. I don't know. But, he ain't going nowhere. And it sounds like they're not moving on from Austin Jackson. So they got 4 guys in place. They do need to draft someone, or they need to get someone who can play offensive guard. They also need a backup swing tackle. So, and look, in round 1, if the right guy's there, take him. Even if it's someone who's an offensive tackle, as long as they can, move inside at least for a year, you can play them at left guard or right guard for a year. So the offensive line does need to be addressed, but it's not like the most pressing needs like it has been in years past where they've had nothing on the offense. They actually got some pieces now. And if Austin Jackson can find a way to stay healthy, I know that's asking a lot. They're actually in okay shape there, but they do need to find another starting guard. And if they also need a swing tackle. So losing Cole Strange, losing Larry Bourne, I don't know, even if Miami had money, they would have re-signed him anyways, honestly. So I don't know if that's a big loss there. One guy that the Miami Dolphins lost out on, I don't want to say they lost because he was never part of the team, that they lost out on Monday was edge rusher from the Packers, of course. I'm going to try to say the last name correctly. First name is Kingsley Ngbare, who played for Jeff Hafley the past 2 seasons. He also, as an edge rusher with the Packers, he also played for Miami Dolphins run game coordinator Joe Barry, because people forget Joe Barry was the coordinator for the Packers before Jeff Hafley. And apparently, according to NFL reporter John Frisella, the Miami Dolphins were really hot on him. They wanted him bad. Because look at the Miami Dolphins pass rush. It's Chop Robinson and nobody else right now. They need edge rushers in the worst way possible, which is why everyone sort of mocks Miami to take a corner in round 1, and they might. I think if there's an edge rusher there that they like, I think they're going to go nuts and just take him because they have no pass rush. And I don't know how they're going to pay for one here in free agency, because that's usually a spot where it gets a little pricey. Example right here. But they wanted him bad, and the Jets, who have a lot more salary cap space, came in and outbid the Dolphins and gave him a much better offer, according to NFL reporter John Frisella. So Kingsley here was a guy that Miami really wanted. He's played in 68 games. He started 21. He has 11.5 career sacks. I think he had 4.5 sacks next year. He's not a household name. He's not a guy who for most teams is probably a rotational piece, but in Miami, he might have started young. He was only 26. So they lost out on him, unfortunately. And I'm sure they are still. And here's the deal as well. Right now, as I record this on Tuesday at 6:15 p.m., they are over the salary cap by less than $2 million roughly. I don't have the exact number. So they still have to get under the cap here by 4:00 on Wednesday. So in the next few hours, or the next 22 hours, they're going to have to cut someone, possibly Tyrell Dotson. That opens up $3 million. That would make them cap compliant. They're going to have to restructure some people, which I know John Eric Sullivan said he doesn't want that to happen until the summer. He might not have a choice. He might have to restructure Aaron Brewer or Jordan Brooks or Zach Sealer now, possibly. We'll see. We will see. But they're over the cap, so they're not going to be able to, probably sign any more guys here in the next 24 hours until they get that straightened out. Because at 4:00 on Wednesday, they have to be under the cap. There's no, well, we're just a little bit. No, there's none. You have to be under the cap. So we'll see what happens there. All right, before I get to the last part of the show, everyone, be sure to go to the website, finheaven.com. Finheaven.com's is the largest Miami Dolphins message board on the internet. Great conversations over there. And everyone, wherever you're listening to this podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Podchaser, iHeartRadio, please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. So don't miss an episode. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button right now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And also hit the alert bell. That doesn't hurt. And again, super chats are open. Leave me a super chat, comment, question, anything. I'll read it on the air before the end of the show. And yeah, someone in the chat said, would they extend them? That's what I meant by restructure. Extend them, because if you give them an extension, you lower their salary cap number this year and you lock them up for more years because they're going to be free agents next year this time. So yes, I misspoke there. That's what I meant. Extend them, not necessarily restructure. I mean, they could restructure too, but extend is what I meant. All right. Last topic here. We're going to spend a little time on this. Malik Willis was obviously the big news from Monday. And before I start, let me make this perfectly clear, because I know some of you probably missed our show on Monday, where I gave my opinion on the Malik Willis signing. I like the Malik Willis signing. At the price they got him at, I have no problem with it. I think he can be a very good quarterback in this league as a starter, and I don't think they overpaid. I was pleasantly surprised with the signing and the contract that they were able to get Malik Willis locked up at. I like the move. Now, and leave it to me to be the voice of reason for Miami Dolphins fans. But here we go. Because I'm always the guy who's called too negative. But I feel that in this instance, I need to be the messenger here. And I don't like to tell fans how to fans. How to be a fan. If you love the team and you want to be rosy and positive about everything, go for it. You're a Miami Dolphins fan. You're okay by me. If you're a fan who just criticizes and poops on everything, that's fine. I get it. We've been bad for 20 plus years. You're a Miami Dolphins fan. That's okay. You're good with me. I really don't care. With that said, though, some Miami Dolphins fans have gone overboard in the past 24 hours and are making this entire fan base look stupid. The fact that, more than half of this fan base is really pissed off that the Dolphins signed Malik Willis is really confusing and head-scratching. The fact that many fans are back to their social media games, that's what it is, it's just a game, attacking the national and the local media, people who are praising this signing and actually saying good things about the Dolphins for once, and the fact that there's a large chunk of fans on social media who have attacked these people viciously for 24 hours and it hasn't stopped, it's kind of sad. It's kind of scary too. I get it. Some fans don't believe that Willis is the answer, and that's fine. That's a fair stance to take. But he isn't being paid like he is a savior. He isn't being paid like he is the answer. Miami is really only tied to him for 2 years in guaranteed money. And with the rising salary cap every year, that's no big deal. Fun fact for everybody, because I'm sure most people might not know this. As of today in early March, with the expiring contracts and the dead money that's going to be off the books after this year. Now, not Tua's dead money, but everyone else's dead money that's going to be off the books after this year. Miami's going to have this year next time roughly $81 million in salary cap space. If the cap even goes up marginally, spoiler alert, it usually goes up more than marginally. So they're probably going to have more than $81 million in salary cap space next year. They are only in salary cap hell for 1 year. This signing of Malik Willis isn't a financial risk long term. It's not. Some people might want to paint it as that. They are grifters and bad faith actors. It's not. This is not a big financial risk. If Malik Willis sucks, guess what? They take a quarterback in round 1 in 2027. If Malik Willis is just okay, guess what? They take a quarterback in round 1 in 2027. And guess what? If Malik Willis is great, then you just made the genius free agent signing in many, many years for this organization. Where is the downside? Now, I know the pushback, and some of you are probably yelling. I'm sure you're going to see some here in the chat real soon. Just tank. Guarantee yourself a top pick. Well, how well did the tank work in 2019? It didn't. Plus, once again, have you looked at Miami's schedule this season, upcoming season? You got the Bills twice. You got the Patriots twice. You got the Broncos. You got the Chiefs. You got the Chargers. You got the Raiders, who, with all the money they're spending and 2 picks in the top 14, might be really good next year. You got the Packers, the Lions, the Bears. You got the Vikings, probably with Kyler Murray. You got a trip to San Francisco. Cincinnati comes back to our house, and they beat our balls off this year. And then again, you got to play the Colts, another team that beat our balls off this year. Willis can play well, and this team is still going to lose games. Let's play a game. If you're a Dolphins fan right now, let's play a game. If you are worried about the Miami Dolphins winning too many games because they signed Malik Willis, right now, this moment, go look at their depth chart on defense. Malik Willis could have this offense cooking, scoring 28 plus points per game, and they still might lose every game by 10 points or more. This secondary has nobody you trust. We have one linebacker in Jordan Brooks. that's really any good. You have one pass rusher and Chop Robinson, who wasn't good last year. You got Zach Sealer, who's getting a little long in the tooth, if we're being honest, and a bunch of second-year defensive linemen. With Grant, he was a letdown last year. Jordan felt with nothing special. Like, how are we stopping anybody? How are we stopping anybody? And what do you think? We're going to draft a bunch of rookies this year, and they're going to come in and magically make this a top 10 defense? This defense is going to go into next year as one of the worst defenses on paper in the entire league. This defense is going to stink on toast next year, okay? Stink on toast. They don't have the money to sign any big-time defensive free agents. Hell, the one guy they wanted from Green Bay only got like $10 million. They couldn't even come close to structuring a deal to pay him. They ain't getting no big-time free agents on defense. And a couple picks in the draft ain't going to change it, especially with some of those picks. One might have to be a wide receiver. One might have to be an offensive guard. They can't even use every pick on defense if they wanted to. They have to sprinkle it around. Nothing has changed with the Miami Dolphins 2026 outlook because they signed Malik Willis. Everyone who just turned into a panic pussy needs to calm down and chill out. Okay? They aren't openly tanking, but that doesn't mean they're going to go balls to the wall here to try and win and max out the credit card trying to win. Okay? They're going to try and win, but odds are they're not because of the schedule, because of the defense, and pretty much this is it. You know, once again, I see people right now just fix the O-line. I just told you 4 starters are coming back. You know, fix it. What do you want to do? They got no money. You only got so many picks. 4 starters are back. And if Austin Jackson stays healthy, you really got 4 starters back. I mean, fix it. They had a 1,000-yard rusher by like week 12 last year. The offensive line wasn't as bad as everyone said it was. So again, calm down. But this defense is terrible. I mean, who you got? You got Jordan Brooks. Zach Sealer's getting a little older. You got nobody else. Grant was nothing special last year. You know, Zeke Biggers is a rotational guy. Jordan Phillips is a rotational guy. They're probably going to have to cut Tyrell Dodson. Chop Robinson, big disappointment last year. Traded Minka. Your corners are Jason Marshall and who? Your safety is Dante Trader and who? They're not going to win games. They're not going to win too many games because they signed Malik Willis. Anyone who tells you that, again, bad faith actor and a grifter trying to get you riled up over nothing. The outlook hasn't changed one bit. You could play Quinn Ewers. They're going to win the same amount of games as they did with Willis. At least with Willis, there might be an upside here where the team, if it actually ever got good, might be a long-term answer where Quinn Ewers really isn't. Hell, a few months back, I mean, look, I know the majority or this vocal majority online, you know, in this fan base is usually mad about something. And I know we live in a social media world where everyone is pissed off about everything at all times. Hell, I remember a few weeks back or a few months back, I saw people online red in the face, angry, sending out angry tweets because Wendy's changed the type of lettuce in their cheeseburger. People will look for anything to get outraged about. But if you are a smart football fan, Malik Willis to Miami on a 3-year, $67.5 million deal, $45 million guaranteed. No guaranteed money after year 2 is something that gets you upset. Then you are not a smart football fan. Everyone loves to preach about low-risk, high-reward signings. Well, the money might be a little more in this type of situation, but this is your essentially a low-risk, high-reward signing because you're not tied to this guy forever. This isn't the Tua deal where it's like $50 million you owe him this year. The contract goes forever. This is a 2-year deal. Guy's making like nothing this year almost. I mean, it's not for a starting quarterback. It's not that much. And here's the other thing. Sullivan and Halfley believe in Malik Willis. Cam Wolf of the NFL Network, one of the best, he is reporting that they believe he can be a long-term answer. Guess what, though? I don't know how much they really believe it because they built themselves a fail-safe in case he isn't, and that it won't wreck their cap past 2027. He's not a journeyman quarterback. He's not a retread quarterback. He was a 3rd-round pick who struggled in Tennessee, got traded to the Packers. He developed, and now he's worked himself into a bottom-level NFL starter. I get it. Dolphins fans are scared. Dolphins fans have been through a lot for over 2 decades. but you can't piss on everything. If they gave Willis over $30 million a year, $35 million a year, like was being spoken about for the past few weeks, yeah, I'd be pissed because that's crazy money for someone who doesn't have a ton of experience. But guess what? They didn't give him that. He got the Justin Fields contract everyone kind of thought he would get. And that's what he probably should have got. And it's not that big a deal. Dolphins fans have Stockholm Syndrome. Not all, but a large segment of them have Stockholm Syndrome. Don't know what that means? Look it up. A large segment of them, of this fan base, was brainwashed by Chris Grier. And Chris Grier's asinine way of doing business and roster construction. And change is tough. Any change in life. Change with their diet, change with their 9-to-5 job, change with your spouse in any way, change with your kids. Change is tough and it's scary. We have seen Chris Grier tank. We have seen Chris Grier go F them picks one year, then try to stockpile picks the next. Wild extremes from year to year. No set plan, no direction, no thought, and it failed again. It failed 100 times over. So Miami Dolphins fans are wired to think this is how you build a team. You try one way, that doesn't work. We'll just go to the other extreme. We'll try another way. That's not how this league works. Never has, never would. John Eric Sullivan is showing you how to do a rebuild. Chris Grier was a moron, but that moron did brainwash a lot of people. And John Eric Sullivan is showing these fans now you can rebuild without tanking. Oh, hold on, I'm getting a call. Sorry, Seth, I'm gonna have to call you back. That you can rebuild without tanking. And you can sign a quarterback like Willis to a fair market deal and still look to improve the quarterback position by drafting one in round one next year should it be needed. But they're going to try and win in 2026 because that's what normal teams do. Sullivan is never going to tank. Sullivan is never going to go F them picks ever. Sullivan won't have a drastic change in how he builds a roster. He has a core belief. This is it. Build through the draft, develop, use free agency as a tool, and he's never going to change. That's how he's going to do this every year. He has enough confidence in himself and his team around him to be able to find a quarterback without having to punt on a whole season and lose a ton of games. You can find a franchise quarterback late in round one, in round two, round three. It's happened before, folks. And again, if you think they're going to win too many games, flashback to what I said 2 minutes ago. Look at their schedule. Look at the defensive depth chart. You ain't got to worry about them winning too many games next year because nothing has changed with the signing of Malik Willis. But it's funny, though, to see some fans with a knee-jerk reactionary stuff with no thought behind it. It's just funny. With Tua, anytime a local or national media person criticized him, a segment of the fan base would attack the reporter viciously online. In the past 24 hours, had a little bit of a heel turn. Any national media person or local media person who praised the Dolphins and praised Willis, now they're getting attacked. It makes no sense. It's entertaining, but it makes no sense. And I think it's because this fan base has got some Stockholm Syndrome from they're used to the Chris Grier way, and they're not used to having a competent person in charge, sort of with a plan, do things a totally different way. You'll get used to it eventually. And again, I'm not saying Willis is a savior. I'm not saying Willis is the answer. I'm saying for what they paid him, it's fine. It's not a big deal. And they're still going to lose the same amount of games this year that they would have lost if they didn't sign Willis. And they're probably still going to take a quarterback in round one, 2027. It's really not that big a deal. And for all you fans out there having a meltdown over this, yelling at the local media, yelling at the national media who criticized Tua for all those years, and you push back on them, well, in the end, they were right. You were wrong. So maybe this time around now with Willis, instead of arguing with them and calling them names, maybe this time around, listen to them. You might learn something. All right. That's all for today's show. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button. Put up a comment. I see people in the chat don't like some of the people love what I'm saying. I got some people who think I'm an idiot. That's beautiful. That's the great thing about this world. Everyone's entitled to an opinion. And yeah, we'll probably be back with look, they have to do something in the next 24 hours, so we're going to have a show. And if big news ever breaks, if something happens in the next hour or two, I'll be back on tonight probably with another show. So be on the lookout for that, or I'll be probably back on Wednesday with a show if there's no big news. Check out the website, DolphinsTalk.com. Check it out. DolphinsTalk.com for the latest and greatest Miami Dolphins news, rumors. We have commentary articles up. Simon Clancy wrote a good one. Carlos wrote a good one. We got a ton of great original commentary. Go to DolphinsTalk.com. Social media on TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram at Dolphins Talk. Make sure you're following us there on all the platforms. Everyone have a great rest of your Tuesday. Once again, if news breaks, check out the website, and we'll be back online with a show. And when you're out in the streets driving around, please don't forget that we must put an end to highway profanity. Peace out, everybody.